Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes is the Greek name for the Hebrew book from the Old Testament, which forms part of the wisdom literature. Meaning something like to gather, it evokes anthology, like a gathering of flowers, although it actually meant a religious gathering, as in the Greek word. Across the ages, its similarity to Buddhist and existential notions has been noted, as it references Indian concepts, and in particular Buddhist concepts. It is referred to as Pranja, meaning wisdom in Sanskrit, hence its title in English, Pranja Anthology. Thoughts noble and wise I give you this day. Absurd and empty are all things, I say. Even our child and what we're creating is never sure, for all's ever changing. You consider surely the earth abides, yet sun has its clouds and seas have their tides. Seeking sensations is oh so tiresome, yet though nothing's new we seek distraction. Craving diversions we never can see how things are, were always, will always be. These things I know from applying my mind to the nature of being, where I find a weary world that's empty of essence, where worry and woe comes from these lessons. All things are products of past conditions. Ignore this insight and risk perdition. Controlling change is a life that conspires to fill its dearth with a list of desires. This I know from my deepest being, just as I know there's few others seeing. So I ask, is wisdom the pinnacle? No, it's but void, it makes one cynical, as vaporous as the madness of fools and elite comforts of knowledge's tools. From then, like all things, no meaning ensues, only pain for he who pleasure pursues. Holding this thought with mindful awareness, I prepared myself to probe pleasantness, vetting it as a basis of virtue, but neither there was any residue, nor in life of jovial levity, just droll delusion marked by brevity. Even cheering wine vouched no veritas, no consolation, only emptiness. Then I sought solace in houses and lands, with shade trees and fruits and water from dams. And with result from my skilful labour, I found the time its success to savour. My cattle and sheep increased in numbers, my fertile farms exceed my neighbours', and I was rich, could do what I fancied, for what's done with calm mind really succeeds. It felt good, but that's the only reward, for wisdom taught me no thing could be stored, and all my toiling turned to my chagrin, to become futile like taming the wind. Again, what's wise or foolish, I wonder, when on great men of the past I ponder, for there is nothing new that can be done, no, not even one thing under the sun. Of course folly remains less than wisdom, as ignorance is to mental freedom. But if both follow universal rules, why seek to pursue those three precious jewels? For worthlessness defines all attainment, fool or wise, in the end the same payment. Ah, this thought is depressing, demeaning, rendering life devoid of all meaning. It made me detest what I once revered. I saw that all would from me disappear. Who then owns my prized creation? Who knows? My deeds, my labours, caught up in time's flows. Perhaps he who comes next is uncivilized. I felt so empty as I realized, so I lost heart in all activities, even those of wise creativity. Are left to others as unearned windfall, which seems unfair, of no value at all. All work and worry was insanity. Restless nights were for vaporous vanity. The only response for life every day is eat, drink, work, within conditions at play. For who to things clings is never content, unless from control he learns to relent. Until you see conditional knowledge gives not peace as a simple privilege, then constant striving, whatever you do, is chasing the wind when they're taken from you. Observe and know all things have their reasons, as they cycle round respective seasons. Know this, enjoy bliss, and know you're alive, accept birth and death as they each arrive. Plant and reap in the cycle of nature, knowing when to kill and when to nurture, and when to construct and when to destroy, and when to be sad and when to enjoy. Just live the times of grieving and dancing, when going apart and when romancing. Embrace at sometimes and not at others, sometimes gather and sometimes not bother. At times we acquire, at others let go. Today we keep, then tomorrow we throw. One day we repair, but the next we rent. Sometimes we are silent, sometimes eloquent. We wallow in love and then harbour hate. Is it war or peace? Is it up to fate? What a dilemma is this delusion! For while we see each thing in seclusion, we cannot observe that timing divine, when all is ever sufficient and fine, when peace is joy and contentment is bliss, from skilful actions where nothing's amiss, where man's laws and rules are not absolute, where only natural law is resolute. This unchanging truth attracts our essence, that past and future are but the present, but that which is wicked is ever here. We hope for justice, but we live in fear. We breathe, we die, and that's the firmament. Nothing persists, all is impermanent, just cycling back to dust and small fractions, thoughts of souls being empty distractions. To enjoy the moment must be truth's core. It's all that there is, no one can know more. Opining deeper about oppression, I saw who lacks clout, lacks consolation. Sometimes it is so incredibly bad that it would much better to be dead, or better again to never be born and not to have known this life so forlorn. For all our efforts directly derived from envy of what another's contrived, which just renders our pursuit as puerile as bottling the breeze and just as futile. To sit still and starve leads to resentment, while to work just enough gives contentment. But toil for excess, its full foolishness, produces a mess of meaninglessness, like he who used his time like usury, and found riches return but misery. It's all so simple, yet hard to be known, that two have more warmth and strength than alone, that work's finished fast when done with neighbours, robust ropes are formed from fragile fibres. It's so much better to be poor and wise than rich and unable to take advice, for the wise man always has his reward. When change comes, fools are no longer adored. Their ignorance breeds but disappointment, for from permanence they seek enjoyment. Remain aware and with wise intentions, spurn the ignorant masses' conventions. Reflect on your words in your awareness. Know that most are uttered in foolishness. Just as a busy mind produces dreams, so ignorance ignites more words, it seems. Maintain your resolve to act ethically, but be kind, don't follow over strictly. Speak only truth and harmoniously, but if you slip, don't fret onerously. Just learn to leave what distracts your resolve, for excess of words makes wisdom dissolve. and with unfairness and inequity, do not worry about it overly, for all such things depend on conditions, never known as there's always additions. Wealth and power still rely on the farm, but fools will forget and cause themselves harm. For what can acquirers do with excess? Their wealth is their worry, what emptiness! Kept awake by fear while the poor man snores, so hoarding brings harm to its owner's doors. You were born with nothing, you'll die the same. The score will be naught come the end of the game. Your huge hoarded heap is but wafting smoke. All this is what I have seen and thus spoke. Ignorance breeds frustration and sorrow, for he who makes demands on tomorrow. For nature gave us joy in drink and food, in carrying water, in chopping wood. So you're rich, enjoy, don't be attached. Fret-free contentment is being detached. But it usually works the other way, with wealth and honour producing dismay, about the irony of seeking more. What surplus to needs makes you less sure. Gold, status, long life and family head, all void, it's worse than being born dead. Yes, not having been born would be best, for from clinging things there's never a rest. No matter how long you live before death, in that end we will all share the same breath. We work to survive, yet always want more. What benefit wisdom, ethical mores? With what you have be content with calm mind, don't chase more, for its emptiness you'll find. For our minds name things, then no longer see them as changing parts of all that's to be. We're lulled to giving men each their label, more words, less meaning, no value at all. Who knows what's good for a man here or there, here fleetingly, then gone to who knows where. Also I learned a good name has merit, as does accepting death in good spirit. To know our end heightens life's quality, not like laughter void of vitality. For pensive insight informs ourselves, and fashions our focus and self-resolve. Wise men's rebukes, or praise full of conceit, which like crackling dry wood burns without heat. I've seen corruption make wise men foolish, condition avatars to avarice. Just as a finish surpasses a start, patience is better than pride for the heart. So guard against anger and good old days, for wisdom enlightens all times, all ways. It's a security better than wealth, for it gives you life and heartens your health. So reflect and you'll see the way things are, conditioned contentment when all's at par. Good die young, yet there's old who are evil, and yet slaves to ethics can be devils. Don't be stupid or shorten your life, the middle way banishes all such strife. Wisdom a ruler's power will sustain, but nevertheless from gossip refrain. If not, you might hear of yourself with pain, just as you criticize others when vain. With my intellect I acquired to gain, but wisdom requires more than just a brain. Such insight for me was all too profound, so again I knelt on nature's firm ground, and found wisdom explains our trite trances, mental dependence, common romances, which as love we mistake for delusion, and so from truth cement our seclusion. Look, I say, just thinking is not enough. That's acting wisdom, as if it's a bluff. It's how we behave until our worldview sees what is real, like being born anew. To become brighter, softer, more refined. That's our duty in life all the time. So do your duty, do as should be done. That's all that there is under the sun. Better than rushing to blindly force change. trying to control and all things arrange, for hierarchies always have their day. The wise man lives with their power and sway, acting never too soon, never too late, even when it's so wearisome to wait. You never know what the future endows, you only have limited power, for conditions must your free will belie. You don't even control the day you die. And there's no escape from any acts past. When the war starts, all are trapped in the blast. Such have I seen in moments of insight. Sometimes you think strength gives you respite. Then you discover it causes you pain, and you catch a glimpse of truth once again. Base men eulogized, it makes me astonished. Of simple mind, I want crimes admonished. Oh, what vanities, all is vanity. Why follow suit? What insanity? Though an evil man may live a long life, he's less content with his cares and his strife, aging with angst, not like a smooth shadow, weary of all and fearing tomorrow. And yet I see the ethical suffer, and I wonder why evil men prosper. But there's no answer, it's just meaningless. Seeking purpose must always be pointless. Just enjoy life's basic necessities. Contentment is time's honoured recipe. When on our work reflects I reflected, I saw that its role to be respected. So basic that it's hard to comprehend, so much deeper than ever sage penned. For wise ethics can't see all conditions, and so cannot informal decisions. We are by such circumstance affected, even if with religion rejected. It's the same for all, both evil or good. All die in the end, to be fat worms' food. But while there's life, there's hope, an epilogue. For sure a dead lion's worse than a live dog. At least the living know death, that's something. The dead are forgotten and know nothing. And with them leaves their loves and their envies, so be content, for all's as it must be. Dress and groom, enjoy your lover's caress, in the deluded world's meaninglessness. Being content is doing your duty. In all you do, do it well with beauty. And more have I seen, that as no one sees all, we're subject to chance as well as death's thrall. We can't know the day, so why do we fret? Fish don't know when they'll be caught in the net, and birds can't know when they'll be snared by men, so men can't know when bad times will claim them. I also saw wisdom's felicity, when a strong Tsar besieged a small city, where a poor wise man saved all to acclaim, and within the week all forgot his name. So I concluded that wisdom beats force, but if followed is quickly unendorsed. Even though wise words are heard and some heed, it's kings and fools, shouts that the masses need. So while I know that wisdom whips weapons, good's long gone when unskilful acts happen, such a small foolish act sours all wise views, like a fly in ointment spoils its value. Like a fly in ointment spoils its value. Thus are ignorance and folly made clear. So when betters berate before your peers, don't resign in a huff, stay calm midst fears, for all err, even those in high places. They miss merit and praise who disgraces. I have seen reversals of position, kings forget they depend on conditions. Perhaps it comes with industriousness, like injury induced from carelessness, of using brute force to cut with blunt axe. So prepare, be aware, never be lax. Nor can the snake charmer mistreat his snake, lest he risk putting his own life at stake. Thus the wise man prepares before speaking, Fools gabble gossip, ending in grieving, so full of words that they cannot listen, fatigued by foof and damning derision. For states are rotten when leaders don't heed, which soon tempts ministers into gross greed. Better by a balanced mind ruled over, where all ministers are sound and sober, the leaking dwelling of a lazy man, simply fixed, but he won't do what he can. Laugh when feasting and be merry with wine. Don't despise money, that tool of our times. Don't criticize leaders or wealth and charm, for they might hear and harass your own calm. Be generous with boons, to all be a friend. Share, for who knows what lurks round the bend. As storm clouds bring rain, trees fall where they rest, so you can plan your planting and harvest, but no one knows all interactions that make up life and its variations. To act when time's ripe requires vigilance and awareness with mindful diligence. To see life's light is indeed a delight, then even long lives won't die in fright. For all things end, they change, for all is void. Whatever's built is doomed to be destroyed. So enjoy youth, but create good karma that will guide life with minimal drama. Don't fret that youth is so impertinent. Youth, seek wisdom, it's not impertinent. Enjoy life's pleasures in the years before, the dark moods of old age your heart implores. When owning's a burden and strength leaves you, like past parts of life and those whom you knew. When houses are stale and industries still, when birdsong enchants then fades to a chill, when fears surround you and life seems a lie, all interest deserts you and then you die. Best reflect before life's links are broken, lest words like shattered pitchers be spoken, while yet eternal fountains well function, and life is a balm smoothed by fine unction. For as all does, so will you become dust. To the world empty, it views as it must, but the wise know cycles and change as real. Such knowledge is free to all who have zeal. For me, I sought but self-resurrection, that could goad me in the good direction. Always avoid other vexed versions, unless it's simple, it's just diversion. They're just words in books going round and round, distracting the mind like an empty sound. Now all said, it's the best gift I'm giving, mindful ethics, the purpose of living. For each act indubitably creates that future in which we can recreate.